Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning, the 15th, about 6:30 a.m. And I just had some things on my mind over the last few days. I just wanted to share with you all just some thoughts, some reminders. Uh, so hopefully people might find some of this beneficial. Try not to be too long here, but yeah, I just can't sleep anymore. So when that happens, it's like, okay, I guess time to get the day started. First and foremost, man, I hope y'all are safe out there, prepared for this very dangerous weather coming in this weekend. I guess, especially, I just looked at some latest reports, Mississippi, Alabama area. Texas has just been getting absolutely hammered with all kinds of strange things, the dust storms, and just crazy, crazy weather, just right after the blood moon. I mean, very, very strange. So I hope folks are prepared. Hope you got a plan. If you lose power, people are stocked up on non perishable food and water and whatever else they need. Um, a plan, like I said, if you lose power, what to do about that. Um, Sounds like certain areas are going to get hit a whole lot more than others, but this thing's just going to spread all the way up. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy weather. But yeah, in my area in particular, I mean, we have wind advisories and, possible, they're saying possible really bad weather, but may not get hit as bad as other areas with tornado outbreaks and just hail and a lot of rain and so forth. But time will tell on that. But what can I say? Just be as ready as you can for these things. Apparently, Mark from Weatherman Plus, I think he's going to put out a video according to his comment on his latest video from like 11, 12 hours ago. He's going to do one around, I guess, it'd be about 8 a.m. Eastern time this morning, updating everybody on what to expect. So you might want to pay attention to that Weatherman Plus YouTube channel. And man, so yeah, I just got some things that swimming around in my head the last few days. Um, I'm gonna share with you all. Excuse me a second. Got sniffles, but you know what? I'm glad that the weather's gotten warmer during the day. I mean, it's like a 40, 50 degree difference almost from the time you wake up in the morning. You still like in the 30s and 40s, But then by the end of the day, it's almost like 80. Crazy, man. Just crazy. So it's like, yeah, just dress in layers, I guess. Prepare to, shed some of the winter clothes and just have almost practically being a t-shirt, by the end of the day. It's just crazy, man. I don't know when and if this is ever going to end. This is very strange. But, wow. But I'm glad not to have the heat on every night anymore. So that's good. Um, you know, Save money that way, and you don't have to constantly have the heat coming on and off. But it's not warm enough for air conditioning either. So thank God for fans, right? So, fans and opening windows, if you can do that. So anyway, enough of the weather report, I guess. But some things on my mind here in March for me in particular. I have mentioned this several times over the last many years. It's particularly on the other channel that was taken down, I don't know, 3 months ago now. I don't know when it was, honestly. But on this particular channel, I haven't talked about it as much. And I really wasn't going to, because for people who have come over from the other channel to this channel, they're like, oh, come on, again? Seriously, kid? And I get it. I get it. It's just like, come on. Do you really have to do this again? Well, here's the thing. One, you don't have to listen. No, I'm joking. no, but no, but seriously, here's the thing. This channel has grown quite a bit, and I thank everyone for that. I think the new subscribers are people that just listen, don't say anything, don't leave comments, and that's fine. Nobody has to. Some people just listen or they subscribe, and they may or may not listen. They just stay subscribed or what have you. But thank you. I mean, this channel has grown exponentially, over the last few months, from like 200 and something almost to 600. So I'm thinking, well, if it's grown that much, you know, then my guess is not everybody that is over here now was from the other channel, and I do get notifications of new subscribers, and I'm thinking, well, maybe not everybody knows about this. Maybe not everybody's heard it, and if you haven't heard it, um, it's pretty interesting. It's one of those things that a lot of people have not experienced, and I got the opportunity to, and now it's coming up on 7 years uh, that I gave an interview with Pastor Ben Faircloth on, the very interesting and frightening experience I had after Desert Storm. And I know people are like, oh, here we go again. But for those who have never heard it and might be interested, it's still up. And I'll share it to the post later on. I get a chance. But if you go to Benjamin Faircloth YouTube channel and you just type in Benjamin Faircloth Ken Roberts, it'll pop right up. It's the prophetic ignited worldview or something like that. And it's an interview that I gave with him back on March 21st of 2018. So coming up on 7 years now. And that particular date of, I don't know, I think I gave the interview on the 18th. I might be wrong, but it got posted to his channel on the 21st. I may not. I may be wrong about that. But the 21st stuck out for me, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes here. I'm like, just interesting. Not reading anything to it, just interesting. But yeah, this particular interview that I gave, uh, it has to do with what I experienced after being in the desert with Marines for several months. Um, and this occurred after Desert Storm, after operations were completed. And it was in March of 1991 that this occurred. And the reason I bring it up again is because, well, not just the blood moon, but I'm hearing not a lot, but a few things. Either things that have just popped up on the page, or maybe I'm subscribed to or was subscribed to, and I just remember it or whatever. And I'm not exactly sure what to think about it. Very, very controversial subject, but it has to do with, the days of darkness. And like I said, very controversial. Some people immediately dismiss it as like a Catholic prophecy and, just a fear tactic. Things that people just, things that go bump in the night kind of thing, I mean, just they immediately dismiss it outright. And I understand that, especially if they look at it just as a Catholic prophecy and nothing to be greatly concerned about, nothing to prepare for or to think about, pray about. I can respect that. I don't completely agree with it, and I'll tell you why. Because I do believe that days of darkness, I think it is biblical. I mean, if you read in Joel and Amos, and not just that, but it was one of the plagues of Egypt. If people want to go, back into Exodus and read about the plagues of Egypt, I think it's Exodus chapter 10. So, I mean, it is one of the plagues that darkness came over the land, a darkness that could be felt. And I mean, so the reason I bring it up is because I experienced it in the desert, but not in that way. And it wasn't for that long period of time. It wasn't days. It didn't go on for 3 or 10 days or whatever else. And there's different types of darkness here. I'll get into that in a minute. Going back to why the 21st is interesting to me, and I'll tell you in a minute here. But what I experienced though was a darkness and a black rain, and it was like a darkness that blotted out the sun, and apparently it was from oil wells that were on fire, at least that's what we were told. And then the when I guess Hussein set them on fire or whatever, I don't know, but anyway, and when the smoke rose up into the air, it blotted out the sun, and not for a long period of time. But the interesting thing about it was, it seemed like everything was fine, and then it wasn't. I mean, it was a beautiful sunny day, and then all of a sudden, it just got dark, man. It blotted out the sun, and then it began to rain, but it wasn't like a regular rain. It was like a black rain. It was really creepy. It was like suffocating. And like I said, it only lasts for like about a half an hour. And I go into greater detail in my interview with Ben Faircloth on this, but and like I said, it's about 45 minutes long. Not quite that long with the interview. I mean, there's a bit of an introduction, first, and then we get into the interview aspect of things. But I don't know. I mean, it was March of 1991, so it was a long, long time ago. I was very young then, and it was. But it's coming up on that 7 year mark of the interview. And I was like, so I started thinking about that. And then when I noticed that it was actually posted on the 21st, well, my friend David K, we'll call him David K. I sent out a mass email a few days ago to quite a few people, but that were on my email list, but I didn't get too much of a response. And I understand why. And I explained it to David too. I mean, he texted me earlier about something, and I explained it to him too. I said, I think people are kind of getting burned out, maybe a little complacent, maybe even apathetic when it comes to dreams, visions, prophecies, words of knowledge, words of wisdom, whatever people want to call it. And I understand why. Because it appears that over the years, you know, unless people are keeping a logbook or a journal or whatever, it appears that a lot of things haven't come to pass. And, people wait for years. I mean, year after year after year, month after month after month. And it's just like, doesn't seem like things are really coming to pass. And when they do, people have forgotten about them because it's been so long. Uh, and you just get on with your life. You got life to live, things to do. People still work jobs, they take care of their families, their kids, if their kids are young enough, some families, adult children or what have you, grandchildren, whatever. And people just go on with their life, and they maybe file it in the back of their mind or whatever. Like I said, unless people are like writing everything down and keeping logs of different things, it's easy to forget. But there are certain things that you don't forget. And like I said, my experience in the desert was one of them. And but David, with his email that he sent to me and someone else, and then I forwarded it out to everybody on my list, and I actually, screenshotted portions of it and sent it out to a few people. It didn't really share it publicly because, I mean, except for email, because I just didn't want to take all the screenshots and post it to my page. But the bottom line is this: the synopsis is this. Okay, um, he believes that there will be a a market collapse. Okay, I know people are automatically they're going, "Ah, here we go again with these predictions and everything." I get it, I understand, but there may be precedent for this, um, because if you see everything that's going on and all of the reports of the economy and the things that they want to do or whatever, it could be a very sudden and unexpected thing. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I told him that. I was like, listen, most of my responses a lot of times to people who send me things is, we'll see or time will tell, because I do not know. I see all the warning signs, I see the writing on the wall, I see the possibility of it, but I don't know. But he does have a compelling argument for Friday the 21st, which would be, this upcoming Friday next week. And we'll know depending upon the decisions and choices that are made and what's announced and what it appears that they are putting out there as far as information regarding the economy and markets or whatever, if this does occur. And if it does occur, it'll be Friday the 21st. Well, that's what got my attention. I'm like, wait a minute, that's when the interview was posted 7 years ago on the 21st. See? And I really don't even have a title for this video right now. I mean, maybe I'll just call it the 21st. I don't know. I but I'm just like, this is weird, man. So if that were to occur, we're gonna know by Friday the 21st, and then over the weekend, that's when the kind of the bottom falls out. So by Monday the 24th, people will really know then. It will affect everything. Now, regarding days of darkness or whatever, I've heard quite a few things regarding Passover, which is April 12th through the 20th of this year. But we've heard that for many, many, many years from a lot of different people. They have warned about it, they've talked about it, they've mentioned it, they've said they've had dreams, they've had visions, they've had this. I get it. People get complacent, they get apathetic. It's like, come on, how many years has this been now? And so a lot of people, like I said, they will automatically dismiss it as a Catholic prophecy or whatever and say, nope, not going to happen. And honestly, I don't really understand it all myself, and I don't know what it entails. I mean, I don't think it's like a bird box thing, at least I hope not. If people know what I'm referring to there. If not, don't worry about it. Just really frightening, horrifying thing where people have to stay in their homes and shut their blinds and curtains and everything. I don't know about all that. Okay, I don't know. Now, some people like David and others, they refer to things as an electronic darkness, where it may not be an actual physical darkness, but an electronic darkness that, I mean, may or may not coincide with a 3 days or whatever time frame it is. I don't know. But if that were to occur, and if this is the time frame for it, that March April time frame, whether it's like an electronic darkness happening to do with the markets and um, you know electricity, power grid, cyber, whatever, um, that's interesting. But then if from a spiritual aspect, if there is an actual 3 days or whatever, I can tell you this: the things I've heard over the years, and like I said, the jury's out, but we have seen signs, let's just call it that, of these things already happening, like Aurora Borealis, the northern lights coming very, very far south. Hasn't been that big of a deal, more kind of like a phenomenon, very, very interesting phenomenon to look at and to experience, to witness, but it doesn't last. And then everything kind of goes back to the way it was. I'm not going to use the in word as far as you know, Normal. Let's put it that way. But because that went away, I think in like March of 2020. I think that's when that went away personally for me. I think since March of 2020, that word's like non-existent. Okay, but as far as you know, those northern lights going so far south, that's an interesting phenomenon. And from what I've heard is that will be like the warning for everyone to know when those lights appear where they shouldn't appear and the sky starts to turn different colors that it usually doesn't turn. That's when you need, and it doesn't go away, that's when you need to be concerned. From what I understand, that's when you might want to get home, or to shelter or whatever it is, and to be prepared, to be ready. Physical preparations, of course, are always important, but mostly spiritual for that time. Because if it does occur, it will be very frightening and unexpected, kind of like what I dealt with in the desert. I remember that day. I mean, it was a long time ago now, but I remember it very clearly because it was so shocking and sudden. I mean, it was after operations. We're trying to make our way to Kuwait to get a flight out, and we're taking our time because the flights aren't ready yet, and I think it was like one of those days. I mean, the danger seemed to have passed. Everything seemed to be there was surrendering of the enemy, and everything seemed to be okay. And we're just trying to stay busy. I mean, just because what can you do? You're stuck out in the desert. Everything's done. You're just waiting to try to get back stateside. So Marines are doing what they do. They clean their weapons and they organize things, and then you got to get the sand out of your weapons and so forth, because you still got to always be ready, and you got to maintain your weapons. You got to maintain your equipment or whatever. And as a Navy corpsman, I was probably getting all this dirt and sand and everything out of my stuff, and restocking my pack, because people still get injured. They still need, medical care and so forth. Things still happen, so you still got to be ready. You still got to be prepared. But I just remember it was really bright and sunny, and then it wasn't. Then it wasn't. And it was like that. It's like the darkness came in so quickly, so suddenly. You barely had time to prepare for it. And then when the rain came, that was freaky, man. I can't remember. In the interview, I think we put on our gas mask just out of habit. I don't think I mentioned anything like that in the interview, but I think we probably did. I don't know if anybody yelled gas, 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 but we probably did. I don't know. I honestly can't remember that. I do remember jumping into our holes because we already had makeshift holes, because you're there for a period of time. You make like 6 feet deep holes, that you kind of live in. You might sleep in your sleeping bag outside the hole, but that's kind of where you hang out, and I'd put shelves in there, or like dig holes for shelves to put stuff on, and make a seat and everything. You get creative, because you might be there for a while, and it's like passes the time, gives you something to do. I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, it's desert life. I mean, what can I say? So I remember doing that and then pulling the poncho over me because I didn't know what else to do. I mean, it's all dark all of a sudden. You get so black you can't see the hand in front of your face, and it's just like, man, I don't know what to do here. What are you supposed to do? So you jump in the hole, you pull the poncho over you, and then I don't think we did that. I don't, and when we really couldn't see each other, everybody's kind of yelling at each other because you can't see each other. And I think people were yelling directions, instructions to each other. Jump in your hole, pull your poncho over you, or whatever. Because when it started to rain, the black rain, we didn't know what that was. It was very oily because you could feel it on your skin, And I think maybe even on your face before we put gas mask on, if we did. I don't recall, honestly. But I do remember jumping in the hole, pulling the poncho over me, and then that black rain coming down and just kind of puddling up on the poncho. And then, because you just didn't want that garbage all over you. We didn't know if it was poison. We didn't know if it was chemical weapons. We didn't know what it was. We just didn't know. We weren't expecting this. So we just protected ourselves the best we could. And then I remember when it ended, and it was like about a half an hour, I'd say. And then when it all ended, we just like dumped all the oil, the black rain, the oily substances off of our gear, off our poncho and everything, protected our gear and ourselves the best we could. But it was a mess afterwards. So we definitely had plenty to do after that. Cleaning everything up, getting this garbage off of our equipment and off of everything else. I mean, it was a mess, man. And of course, we're like all oily and everything. There's no way to shower, so you're trying to clean yourself up the best you can. It's like, all right, man, no, enough messing around here. Let's just get to the airport. And we did. We loaded everything up and we just started. We were in a mechanized battalion, so we load everything up into the track and then we just started heading out from there. We weren't planning to. We didn't care. The flights were ready. I think we camped out outside the airport for I don't know how many days or weeks. I can't remember for a while. And then but we didn't care at that point in time. It's just like, let's just get the heck out of here. Enough of this stuff. So, anyway, if people are interested in listening to the interview, I will post it again. Um, and what can I say? I mean, it was like the first interview I think I ever gave on a format like with somebody with a YouTube channel, thousands of subscribers or whatever. But I think it came out pretty well. But to keep in mind, at the time, I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't feel led to have one. I started it a year after that. I was basically on Facebook at the time, and YouTube chat groups or whatever. Um, but I had a pretty decent amount of people that were listening to me, reading my post or whatever I should say on Facebook or whatever. But like I said, this was a while back. This was March of 2018. I gave this interview, so a lot of things have changed since then. People that I talked to that I don't really talk to anymore, I communicated with that I really don't communicate with. I don't really have anything in common with them, or we just don't communicate with anymore. So keep that in mind because a lot of things have changed in 7 years. Some things haven't, but a lot of things have. Like my friend with the fair, my friendship with the fair claws and so forth, that hadn't changed. I mean, as a matter of fact, if it wasn't for this horrible weather, this inclement weather coming in throughout the nation, my wife and I were originally planning to drive down to Livonia this weekend and surprise the United Church people, my United Church family and so forth. And because this has been Faircloth's return to the pulpit on Sunday. So it's his first time preaching in, I don't know, over a month, I guess. So, um, and they're gonna have like a get together afterwards, a potluck or whatever, and I want to be a part of it. But wisdom is the better part of valor. I texted him and said, we're not going to make it, and he agreed. He's like, yeah, pray for us. We'll pray for you because this weather's going to be bad everywhere. And we just want to be able to keep the live stream up, hopefully. It's unfortunate, a little disappointing, but hey, these are the times we live in now. It's just not worth the trip. It's about 4 hours, and you can just get caught in all kinds of weather and just driving to and from, and it's just like nah. Then again, it may be fine. Doesn't sound like it, but this weather is strange. It comes, it goes. I thought it was going to be bad last night. It's not. I thought it was going to be bad today. It probably won't be too bad today where I live. Wind advisories like 45 miles an hour. That's nothing compared to 100, 150 miles an hour that some people be dealing with. So, depending upon where you live or family or friends or whatever, be prepared. be as prepared as you possibly can for this stuff because it's gonna get intense. I think so. Yeah, that was the interview I gave. I mean, since that time, you probably can't even find these anymore. Probably not. But I remember giving an interview after that with June Knight, and actually two. I gave her an interview, and then I did like a live stream the next morning with her. But that was a long time ago too. That was like 2019, I think, something like that. 20. It might have been the same year. I don't know. And then a few years ago, after the big pandemic, scamdemic from you know the national emergency of March of 2020, March 13th of 2020, sometime in 2020 or 2021, I think it was 2021, I don't remember. I gave an interview on extension13.com that was pretty long and in depth on a variety of topics. Since that time, I haven't done much of anything as far as interviews. Nobody's asked me, and the opportunities have not really arisen. And I mean, what more is there to say that I haven't said in those previous interviews and I haven't revealed and talked to people about? So, uh, yeah, it is what it is. So, but that one from Ben Faircloth, that I gave with Ben Faircloth is probably the most relevant, I would say, currently to the times that we're in. Because if we are going to deal with a darkness, whether it's electronic or a physical, spiritual darkness, we're already dealing with spiritual darkness all the time, but like a physical type spiritual darkness that can be felt, it might happen in March or April. I don't know. I mean, most people are probably like looking at it like around Passover time, but like I said, we've heard this for years, and I understand that. I get it. I completely get it. But it might just finally be time now. I don't know. With the blood moon that just happened, and this really crazy weather, and the Ides of March is technically today, I guess the 15th, and um, just all of these things, that we're seeing and hearing about in different reports, not just with the economy, but just the violence and the lawlessness increasing, and just the chaos and confusion and the lies and the deception and the deceitfulness, and all of this stuff just at almost like a fever pitch. I mean, maybe. Maybe. And I said, I just find it kind of interesting that David Kay's prediction, speculation about the economy is for Friday the 21st. And that was the date that the interview was posted, was March 21st of 2018. I just kind of find that interesting, you know. Probably has nothing, one has nothing to do with the other, but I just found it interesting. So I think I'll just title this the 21st. Why not? People listen to it, not listen to it. Believe it, don't believe it. But anyway, I just wanted to get that stuff out there. I hope you are safe and have a good, blessed weekend. Have a plan. Be as prepared as you can be. Uh, what can I say? Just keep paying attention to the weather, Weatherman Plus updates, and the rest of the stuff. Don't become inundated with it. Like I mentioned last time, it'll drive you nuts. It'll keep you away from the Lord. It'll keep you away from what's important. It'll keep you away from fellowship. It'll keep you away from. It'll isolate you. Really, if you let it. I mean, because it's like you can't be inundated with this stuff. People try to inundate me constantly, and I got to take a step back. And and people might think that's rude or whatever, but I'm not going to respond to everything. I'm not going to look at everything. I'm not going to, I got a full time job, family, and so forth, like a lot of you do. And it's just like, I'm not going to do it. And I want to spend time, with my family when I'm able to. Like I said, my wife and I were planning to travel this weekend. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. It's been a long time since we have traveled anywhere for any distance. I mean, once in a while we'll go up to the border states, for hiking or whatever, just inside Virginia or Kentucky or what have you, Cumberland Gap area or what have you. Been a while since we've been to North Carolina, but we're pretty close to all those areas. But as far as like any major travels, visiting people, seeing people, or whatever, it's been a long time. So I was looking forward to it. It's just not wise though this weekend. It's not wise, I don't think. So it's better, better be safe than sorry. Like I said, wisdom is a better part of valor. But anyway, yeah, just be safe out there. Make good choices and decisions, and I hope you all have a good weekend, best you can, and just pray for each other that the people are not injured or killed, even worse, and you know, and they just make it through this weekend okay with all this horrible weather coming in, and because these storms are gonna be bad. They're gonna be really bad in a lot of different areas, and like I said, I think they're gonna spread all the way up to the northeast eventually. So just be ready. Be as ready as you can. All right, I think that's all I have. Y'all have a good day and take care and be blessed. And said I'll post the interview again um, soon. And like I said, just keep in mind a lot of things have changed over the last 7 years. People's like, well, what about this? What about that? Just remember, it was 7 years ago, okay? So a lot of things have changed. Some things haven't, but a lot of things have. So just kind of keep that in mind. Keep an open mind as you listen to the interview. If you've never listened to it before, or if you re-listen to it, and it's been a while, and this is like a refresher, just keep in mind it's been 7 years. Think about what's happened the last 7 years of your life, and how a lot of things have probably changed, and some things maybe haven't. So, all right, that's it. Y'all take care. Have a good one.